I can, gang, gang. Hey, gang, gang. Ooh, yeah. Yes, I can, 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 yes, I can. Ooh, yeah. All dog pull up in a white van. Yeah, hey, slide dog, you know he a hype man. Yes, I can, 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 yes, I can. Hey, can't see Ogden as he run past. Coach Matt been serving up the good fast.
Shake Ogden's hand as I walk in the class, turning my home phone and so on my past. Start up my warm up because I'm succeed. I get the thing done and I do the math deep. Graphing these points and I'm making it right. I'm saying hello, I'm catching these flights. If nobody's nappy, the class will be happy. And nobody making a frown. Okay, class, one more time. Kiss the colonel and raise your hand if you are sitting down. Yeah, just give me 20 on 3. Come on, let's see who the best class is going to be.
Welcome to KYIC News, people. Season 1, Episode 7. Thanks for tuning in today. Yicksters, we have less than 3 weeks to go until the end of the school year. And what a year it has been. On that note, I just want to show you something. Take a look at this. Oh, isn't that funny? My dog's excited to learn this week, people, and I hope you are too. Hey, if you don't think it's important to stay online and to learn something, you're drastically wrong. Because look what happens if you don't stay online and you don't do what you're supposed to do in class. This is what could happen in 2030. People, is your character worth a quiz grade online or not? I don't think it is. Do you want to go on that bridge in about 5 years from now, 10 years from now? I don't think you do. Hey, quote of the day. I think you'll like this one. Here it is. Each small victory improves your odds of triumph at the moment of truth. Isn't that great? So the point is, you keep on fighting now, it's going to pay off later, people, and your life will be easier. So keep that in mind. Anyone know who says it? Hey, good job. Chuck Noll, coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Alrighty, hey, let's go to some birthdays today. We only have a few at the end of May, but they are EJ Sellers. Happy birthday, EJ. Blake, happy birthday. And Emily, happy birthday.
Happy birthday. We're really glad you came.
Happy birthday.
From the birthday gang, we hope you had a good time. Roger's special day. So
Happy birthday. Happy birthday, people. Hang in there. We have a couple weeks to go. Hey, on the school news, for you seniors, did you hear about graduation? Looks like it's going to be, hopefully, mid-July sometime. Maybe we're going to have an in-person graduation. That could be exciting. And for you juniors, how about this news? The UC system said no ACT or SAT anymore for the UC system and possibly the state system in California. Whoa, that will change things. All right, hey, we have a great weather report today, and you guys are going to love this. Let's go to the weather. Boy, that Ace is sure excited to hear about the weather today, isn't he? Love that dog. Hey, our weather today, again, is another gorgeous day in Southern California. Now, we need to appreciate this because I don't know if you guys know what's going on in the other parts of the country, but take a look at this video and you'll see.
And I moved the 10 there. Woo! Get back! Get back!
Gratitude, people, because Southern California is fantastic. Now, I want to show you something that you may not recognize. This is going to be incredible. Take a look up there. Do you see that little white puff of smoke? That's called a cloud. We don't see many of those. Some of you may have never seen that before in your life. That is called a cloud. We live in the best place in the world. I appreciate that. Hey, wait a minute. Just in, we do have a 99.9% chance of algebra. Let's go find out what it is. We are walking on sunshine, people, here in Southern California, and we should be grateful. Hey, in sports, things are happening. We had NASCAR this week. We had a golf tournament with Tiger and Phil. We have all kinds of things going on. Let's hit the sports desk and get some details. Ace is so excited today. You gotta love that. If that does not make you laugh, check your pulse. Hey, in sports today, football, baseball, basketball, hey, it's coming back. NBA is saying mid-July, we're having some live basketball. We won't be able to be there, of course, but there you go. Hey, you know, we got to be creative in this time, and this guy has inspired me. You guys know Coach McNeil and I like to run, and this caught my attention. Check this video out.
Jim Pathman and his son Riley are avid marathon athletes who normally travel the country to compete. But with no scheduled marathons, Jim decided to bring the race day atmosphere to the family's front yard.
For Riley, it was like this very normal thing. He was fulfilled by this piece. And then I'll add that I also figured out that this was the best half marathon spectating race for my wife because she didn't have to deal with the porta potty. She had chocolate croissants that she made in her own oven, and she had her coffee machine here, and she was able to see us.
How about that? A guy runs a marathon pushing his kid around his house. That is inspirational to me. Hey, on that note, let's go back to the desk, and keep in mind, each small victory improves your odds of triumph at the moment of truth. Hey, now it's time for the algebra news, why we're here. Hey, this is going to be our next to last lesson of the year. Next to last lesson of the year. And stay with me, people. Don't pull the ripcord because you don't want a bridge in 2030 look like that bridge we just saw. So pay attention, and we'll have, again, a little assignment and then a quiz at the end of the week. And hopefully you'll find, especially in college algebra, it should be pretty easy because we did it last year. Let's go to the algebra news. Hey, you college algebra yicksters. Good news. We are down to our next to last lesson of the year. It's on chapter 8, section 2. It's called Arithmetic Sequences Series. We'll finish up next week with Geometric Sequences Series. But today, 8.2, it should be relatively simple because we did it last year in Algebra 2. We'll just go a little quicker and a little deeper today. So stay with me. It should be relatively quick. And then we'll get you out of here so you can hit the beach. So here we go, people. Arithmetic Sequences Series. Now, just so you know, some teachers call it arithmetic. I like to just call it arithmetic, but just so we know, we're talking about the same thing. So the formula for arithmetic sequence is this. We'll explain that in a minute. But what is an arithmetic sequence? Does anybody remember? Anybody remember? How about Conrad? Conrad, what do you think? Yeah, you know this because we did it last year. An arithmetic sequence is a sequence where you add or subtract the same number to get to the same term every time. For example, if I have 7, 11, 15, ... What am I doing every time to get to the next term? I'm adding 4. So that's called a common difference. So that's my D. Common difference, I add that every time to get to the next term. So my formula for arithmetic or arithmetic sequence looks like this. A sub n is my formula. A sub 1 is my first term. So in this case, my A sub 1 would be 7. My D is my common difference. And my n is the number of terms I'm looking for. Now the formula for the geometric series. What is that? A series is simply when you add up the sequence. It's going to be a number. When you add up all the numbers in a sequence, you get a series. And my formula looks like this. Again, my n is going to be the number of terms. A sub 1 is my first term. A sub n would be my last term. Let's give you a couple examples, and we're on our way.
That was easy.
Example number 1. Okay, I'm going to give you A sub 1, which is the first term, A sub 12, which is the 12th term. How do we find the formula? Or no, let's do this first. How do you find the first 5 terms of that sequence? Well, we know the first term is 2. That's pretty simple. How do we find the next term? Well, if we know the 12th term is 46 and the first term is 2, how do I find my common difference? I'm going to call it D. Could we just subtract the values of those terms, 46 minus 2, divided by how many terms are there between the first term and the 12th term, which would be 12 minus 1. And you end up with 44 divided by 11, which happens to equal 4. So my common difference in this case must be 4. Let's check it out. So if my first term is 2, add 4 and get 6. Add 4 more and get 10. Add 4 more and get 14. And then 18, which is pretty close to 17. There we go, people. First 5 terms. So the trick is, how do you find a common difference? So just subtract the values, divide it by, subtract the number of terms, boom, and that's going to give you a common difference. Cha-ching! Bada ba. Okay, example 2.
That was easy.
Now this time, I'm going to ask you for the formula as opposed to the first 5 terms. So I'm going to give you the first term and the 5th term, and you have to come up with the formula. Hopefully you wrote that down when I just presented that to you a couple minutes ago. So first thing we do, we have to find D, the common difference. So the common difference is going to be, we just went over this. Let's subtract the value of my term. So it's going to be 16 minus negative 4. Make sure you put a minus there. Divided by what term it is 5 minus 1. And if we do that, we end up with 20 over 4, which equals 5. So my common difference is 5. That's the first step. Now once we get the first step, let's plug it into the formula we just did, and we'll go from there. So my formula is a sub n equals a sub 1, which is negative 4, plus my d, which is going to be 5, times n minus 1. What is my n if I'm going from 1 to 5? We do not know. So let's just put here n minus 1, because we don't know what term we're looking for. Bloop, bloop to 5. Bloop, bloop. We get 5n minus 5. Let's combine like terms. We get negative 4 minus 5 is negative 9. So we have 5n minus 9 is my formula for that sequence. Now you ask yourself, Mr. Ogden, why is that important? Well, that's important because if I give you these 2 terms and I want to find the 100th term, I can just put 100 in place of my n and I get 100, the 100th term, as opposed to writing all those out 100 times. So that is why it's important.
That was easy.
Okay, next example. Now we're going to go to the series. We're going to add up the sequence, and it's called a series or partial sum. So I'm going to add, go 2, 8, 14, keep on going all the way to 25 terms. Now I could do that in a calculator. I could just keep on adding those up all the way to 25. Would I accept that on a quiz or a test? Of course, but it may take you a while, and it's easy to make a mistake. But let's show you an easier way, I think, to find the formula first and then plug it in. So the first thing we have to do is recall that the formula we're looking for is S sub n equals n over 2 times a sub 1 plus a sub n. So do we know the n? Yes, n is going to be 25. So S sub 25 is going to be 25 over 2 times my a sub 1, which is pretty simple, it's right there, which is 2 plus, but what is my 25th term? And then how do we find it? Any ideas? Brendan, what do you think?
Well, yes.
Of course. We have to find the formula first. So let's do this. A sub n is going to equal my a sub 1, which is 2, plus my d, which it looks like it's going to be a 6, times n minus 1. That is my formula. That's bloop bloop to 6. We get 2 plus 6n minus 6, combine like terms, and we end up with 6n minus 4. So how do I find my a sub n, which goes right here? My a sub n is going to be a sub 25. So if I put 25 I'm going to put it up here. A sub 25 is going to equal, let's put 25 in there, 6 times 25 minus 4. It looks like I end up with 150 minus 4, which is 146. So my 5th term, or 25th term, is 146. Now please, the most common mistake in this problem is for a sub n, people put down 25. Don't do it. I'm going to slash your tires if you do. Put in 25 in the formula, then get the value of the 25th term. So now we got this. Just put some math in here. I'll let you guys do that. You end up with 1,850 is the sum of that series right there. Cha-ching! Bada-ba-bing. Who's still with me? Anybody?
That was easy.
Okay, good. We have example number 4. Almost there. Hang in there. Okay, now I'm going to ask you for the sum of this series. Now you may notice that's sigma notation. I believe we talked about that, or most of you did a good job on this last assignment. Sigma notation, that means we're going to start at term 51, and we're going to end at term 100. We're going to add those values of those terms up and get the sum. Now, good news for you, if you have a graphing calculator, that button's in there. I'll let you play with that and see if you can find it. If not, you can email me and I'll give you the secret. However, if you want to do it by hand, let's do this. Let's use the sum, the summation series, so it's going to be S equals. What is my n? How many terms are there between 51 and 100? Well, there are 50. So 50 divided by 2. How do I get my a sub 1 right there? I plug in 51 in place of my n. And if I do that, I get 357. Plus, how do I get the value of my last term? Well, I plug in 100, put it in place of my n, and I end up with 700. Put that in the calculator, people, and you end up with 26,425. Booyah!
That was easy.
So don't get confused by summation notation. Okay, Yicksters, last example. Okay, little life problem. In KYIC Auditorium, you have 36 rows. 15 seats in the first row, 18 seats in the second row, 21 seats in the third row, and so on. So obviously we have an arithmetic sequence here. What's my common difference? 3. How many seats total in the whole auditorium? So it's going to be a series because we want the total number of seats. You got that? Write it down, memorize it. I'll get back to you. Okay, do we understand the problem? Yes. So here we go. My sequence is 15, 18, 21. I have 36 rows total. Let's use the series formula. And let's go from there. Now we know what n is. N is 36. We know what the first term is 15. But what is the value of the last term, the 36th row? How many seats are there? Well, once again, we have to use the formula. So we have to go with a sub n is equal to a sub 1 is 15 plus my d, which is going to be 3 times n minus 1. Bloop, bloop to 3. Do some math. You end up with 3n plus 12. To find the 36th value of the 36th term, plug in 36, and you end up with 120. So that's the value of the 36th row, 36th term. My n is going to be 36 over 2. My first term is 15. The value of my last term is 120. Again, don't be the numbnut who puts down 36 there. Don't do it. Do some math and you end up with, the sum is 2,430 seats. Make sure you label your answer with seats. And there you go. Congratulations, we just finished 8.2. Now, good news, this won't take you very long. There'll be a little quiz at the end of the week. We have one more section next week, and then there's going to be a little video that you're going to put in, and we'll get to that a little bit later. But you're going to give me a video this time for your final exam. Thanks for tuning in this week, Yicksters. Appreciate you still being with me. It's going to help you in the long run. Make it a great week, and we'll talk to you later. Thank you for that algebra news, Sir Ogden. In conclusion, I just want to remind you of that quote. Each small victory improves your odds of triumph at the moment of truth. So each lesson you do, each time you fight, each time you succeed, it's going to help you for the next battle. Keep that in mind. Hey, our number 5 question of the week. Hey, last week, I think we only had one successful person come up with the answer. This question, hopefully, is a little bit easier. Here it goes. 3 men enter a room, but only 2 walk out. Their room is empty. What happened to the third guy? Think about that. Play it back. Get back to me. And this could be yours. All right. Hey, I'm proud of you guys for staying with me. For those of you who are still here, you should be proud of yourself, and it's going to pay off in the big picture. Keep that in mind. Make it a great week, Carlsbad, and it's time to feel good.
Yes I can, 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 yes I can. Can't see Ogden as he run past. Coach Matt been serving up the good fast.
Shake Ogden's hand as I walk in the class, turning my home phone and so in my past. Start up my warm-up because I'm succeed. I get the thing done and I do the math D. Graphing these points and I'm making it right. I'm saying hello, I'm catching these flights. If nobody's nappy, the class will be happy. And nobody making a frown. Okay, class, one more time. Kiss the colonel and raise your hand if you are sitting down. Yeah, just give me 20 on 3. Come on, let's see who the best class is going to be. Mysterious values, I find them so nicely. Ogden gets sassy, he getting too feisty. Ogden says where up, he wanna go fight me. Probability, I fight him most likely. Drive by the class in my new